This morning, we are talking about endometriosis, an incredibly painful condition where endometrial-like tissue grows outside of the uterus where it's not supposed to be. There are approximately 1 million people living with it here in Canada, and just getting a diagnosis can take, on average, 5 years, but for others, it is so much longer. It took our next guest 24 years to finally arrive at a diagnosis. Tracy Lindemann is a journalist who is weaving her own personal story into a larger dialogue about myths and misogyny in endometriosis care and the systemic failure she sees in our medical system. Tracy joins us this morning. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
I was just telling you off camera, first of all, congratulations on the book. It is called Bleed. We touched on the definition of endometriosis in the introduction, but reading this book, I felt so frustrated for you and the experience that you and so many other people have gone through. For someone who hasn't experienced this condition, can you tell me what it feels like?
Yeah, so everybody kind of has their own experience of the disease. My personal experience felt like a lot of different types of stabbing, cutting in my lower abdomen. I also had endometriosis in my bowel, which is actually quite common. And so, you know, felt like stabbing there too. Different people described the experience as like hot coals in their uterus, being sliced open, you know, being unable to walk, being unable to go to work, being able to go to school. Yeah, like it can be quite a debilitating disease.
And this is every month from the time you get your period until the time when you finally were able to go through a hysterectomy.
Yeah. So the disease is often described by doctors and the medical establishment as something that happens in people's reproductive years, but the disease has been found in fetuses. It's been found in people way past menopause. And so, you know, that really changes the way that people think about the disease. That is changing, but it's a slow change. But I think it's an important thing to note because it is something that follows a person throughout their entire lives.
Their entire lives. You are sharing your own story here, your own medical history as an endo patient, trying to navigate our medical world. You write about the experience of medical gaslighting. What did that look like for you?
It was a lot of, you know, I don't really think you're as sick as you think you are. Maybe you should just lose weight. Even when I lost a lot of weight, it was never enough. Although I've also heard from thinner people who said that their doctors told them to just gain weight. And so, you know, it was a lot of, you're either too much or you're not enough, but you're never the right amount.
And you're never heard.
Yeah, and you're never heard. And also, like, maybe you should just try getting pregnant, even after I told my doctor I didn't want children. And just a lot of these things about kind of individualizing and personalizing a disease that is affected by systemic failure. And so this was really what part of the big impetus for the book is trying to reveal the systems that are at work here.
It took you 24 years to finally arrive at a diagnosis, which was stage 4 endometriosis. What was it like in that moment when you got the diagnosis?
I was relieved. I was angry. It was not news to me because I had already figured out that I had endo. I didn't know I had adenomyosis, which is another condition, which is also extremely painful. But yeah, like I had so many simultaneous feelings, this like rush of information, you know, and because I was being diagnosed like while having an ultrasound done. And so it was just like a deeply intimate experience at the same time as like receiving this life-changing information, you know? But yeah, it made me mad that it had taken so long for what ended up feeling like a simple answer.
Tracy, you've now gone through a hysterectomy. How are you today?
Yeah, so I had a radical hysterectomy in the sense that I got my ovaries, my fallopian tubes, my uterus, and my cervix removed. It was partly informed by my desperation, to be honest with you, because I was like, I don't know if I'll ever see a surgeon again, so I better get it all done at once, you know? I am feeling a lot less pain. Every now and then I'll have, you know, like a stabbing feeling or that kind of thing because there are some lesions that still remain even without a uterus, and lesions can continue to grow without a uterus.
Tracy, thank you for coming today. Thank you for sharing your story, the story that I'm sure was incredibly difficult to write, but well needed.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Well, hey. Okay, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.